Hey guys, Eric here with Wolfgang Designs. Today's project is inspired by one of humanity's oldest and finest traditions, drinking. I'll show you how to turn a simple block of wood into a set of beautiful shot glasses. So grab a drink, relax, and enjoy the process. For this project, I'll be using my CNC. First thing I needed to do was set up a quick toolpath file to cut the parts. I just used the simple software that came with my CNC. Once that was ready, I cleared off my workspace and picked out my materials. For this build, I'm using black walnut for the shot glasses, and I'll make a small tray to hold them using hard maple. First step is cutting a 2-inch chunk from this piece of walnut. I know, you're never supposed to make a cut like this, but let's be honest, we've all done worse in the name of efficiency. The proper way to do this would be with a table saw sled. Maybe that's a project for a future video. With the main piece cut, I trimmed it down into smaller blocks, each one ready to become a walnut shot glass. Here, I'm just making sure each blank is the same size. And yes, I prefer metric. Sorry, rest of America. It's just better. So, here's where things went a little sideways. My original plan was to core these out on the drill press, then round the outside edges on the router. But after drilling them, I didn't love how the inside looked. So I decided to redo them on the CNC. Since I already had the centers hollowed out, this part got a little tricky. To keep everything aligned, I used a machining block and a scrap piece of walnut to ensure each block was fixtured in the exact same position. Once the work was locked down, I zeroed everything to the front left corner and got ready to cut. Next, I swapped out my zeroing bit for a longer end mill. That way, I can reach the full depth of these pieces without risking the spindle hitting the stock or bottoming out mid-cut. Since I was carving a cylinder into an already drilled concentric hole, I oversized it slightly to make sure it was a fresh, perfectly centered cut. I offset it by a few millimeters and took minimal passes to keep the bore smooth. For the bottom, I decided to go with a textured design. Those are actual grooves cut into the base, and I think they look pretty cool. If you've ever worked with CNCs, you know it doesn't matter how many times you check your tool paths. Mistakes just happen. On my first couple attempts, I made a rookie error. I accidentally set the tool path to cut inside the diameter line instead of outside it. Anyone who's programmed tool paths is probably shaking their head right now. Sorry, guys. Luckily, wood is forgiving. I just did a finishing pass and shaved the top down a few millimeters to erase the mistake. With my shaping finished, I moved on to cleaning up the base. I set a 3/4 inch bit to about half depth, which gave me a nice tapered curve, softening the base while keeping a crisp edge at the bottom. I know this is a little sketchy, but I couldn't think of a quicker way to round the inside lip without using the CNC. So, let's just agree not to call OSHA on this one. Sanding a CNC piece is pretty easy. Just knocking down tool marks with 220 grit, then finishing with 320. Here's a quick tip. If you're making cups or anything that touches food, use 100% pure tung oil. Most other finishes are cut with resins, dryers, or solvents, and I'd rather not drink out of that. To properly seal it, I usually do 2 to 3 coats with about 24 hours of dry time between each, then let it cure for a couple of weeks before using. I love tung oil because it penetrates deep into the wood fibers, curing and hardening within the grain. That process seals the pores and helps protect the wood from the inside out. Since it's a penetrating oil rather than a surface coating like shellac or polyurethane, it keeps that natural, warm wood feel while still offering solid protection. Well, there you have it. A quick start-to-finish guide to making walnut shot glasses. And yeah, I know what you're probably thinking. Wait, where did that tray come from? Let's just say the camera and I had a little disagreement, so no usable footage this time. But don't worry, there'll be plenty more builds coming soon. If you enjoyed this project or have ideas for what you'd like to see next, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to help this channel grow, a quick like and subscribe goes a long way. Thanks for watching. Ta-ta for now.